Hey girl. So we're here today with Stephanie. She's gonna be our model today.
Hi.
And welcome to my Prep Like a Pro course. I'm so glad you're here to join us today. Okay, we're just gonna get straight into the Prep Like a Pro course. This is for nail techs that are already, in the nail tech game. Maybe you just need a little extra help on your prepping. Maybe your nails only are lasting 2 weeks. Your clients have a lot of lifting when they come back. So this is for you because a great foundation starts with your prep. You know what I mean? Your client's not going to get a month of retention without proper prep. If there's anything left on the nail plate, it's going to start lifting. Stephanie here is a stylist, a hairstylist. So if you guys notice her nails are a little bit dyed just from, rinsing out color and stuff, that's not like any thing. It's just hair dye. So just wanted to put that in mind because, the first thing is to do a nail analysis. So we're looking at Stephanie's nails. She has cute little nails. They're just a little stained from being a hairstylist and rinsing out people's dye all the time. Um, Stephanie hasn't gotten her nails done in a little bit. She took a little bit of a break, so she's here today to help us film. I'm actually very excited about that. Like I said, you're going to start with a nail analysis. You should have already read through that in the booklet that came with this video. We're going to start with pushing the cuticles back. So I have this cuticle pusher. It's just a basic nail pusher. This side is to push the cuticles back. This side is to like get any like dirt and stuff back. And I also like to use this side if there's any stubborn nail or like cuticle left on the nail plate. It scrapes it up without giving a lot of pressure because it has like a little bit of a, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to start with pushing back the cuticles. Stephanie doesn't really usually have bad cuticles ever. I actually told her to like stop lotioning her fingers for this video so we would have something to like cut away. So we're going to start with pushing back the cuticle. You're going to ask your client, hey, is the pressure okay? Like, does this hurt? Is the pressure okay, Stephanie?
Yes.
There you go. And you can always let your client know, like, hey, like, let me know if it gets too painful or something. Because honestly, I'm not going to lie, if you're trying to push back really dry cuticles, it can hurt your client. Not hurt, but just be a little bit, like, uncomfortable for them. And if that happens, it's better to, like, soak your client's nails in a like water or even better Epsom salt soak for like 3 to 5 minutes or a little bit longer depending on how dry their cuticles are. This finger here really has nothing on it, so I don't know if you guys can tell, but these two have, see the dead skin that we pushed up. And this will give your client, if you're not doing this will give your client to like another week, maybe even a week and a half of nail growth without looking like it's like grown out. So they will love you for that. Maybe tip you for that. Who knows? Again, this finger really doesn't have much dead skin or anything on it. And neither does her thumb. This hand has a little more cuticle, looks like. So far, she's not having any stubborn cuticles or like dead skin on the nail plate where I have to use this piece. But like, I'm gonna give an example. Like, let's say like in the corner right here, because that's usually where like the stubborn like skin likes to stick. You would just like lightly like go like this, and it helps get it out. Literally, that's all it is. I like this tool. It's very handy because this pushing too much with this in the corner, it can get like very sore for your client because it's like a thicker piece of metal. So like right here, she has some dead skin in that corner. Just push it away. And then you can go back after you're done scraping with that side and just get it up. Now we have our cuticles pushed back. Some people like to go in right now and cut the cuticle before they prep. Personally, I like to prep the nail plate before we go in and cut the cuticle because it helps lift it up a bit. And if you are having a client, because Stephanie is not a client with a lot of dead skin on her nails, so we probably won't need to use this, but this is a good bit to have, or even a ball bit. It helps get very stubborn dead skin, like out of the cracks and crevices right here. So this is very handy to have because some clients will have very thick cuticles, dead skin on the nails, and it's just a lot easier to lift it off the nail plate with this than having to drill a whole bunch of times with your sanding band and not destroying the nail plate, because this is a diamond bit. It's very fine grit compared to your sanding band that you're going to use to prep the nail. And for the natural nail, I like to go on like speed 6 or 7, depending on how big the nail plate is. And if you're a newer nail tech, I do recommend seasoning your drill bit. You just take it when it's on and you dab it onto your nail file. Literally just like once like that while it's on. Again, it's called seasoning it. You should be seasoning your hand files as well. A little extra pointer because that's for the shaping video, because I am doing a prep, acrylic laying, and then a shaping video, because I just want to break it down for people in case they don't need all of information. If they do need all of information, then there will be a bundle pack. So I'm not going to season it because I'm pretty good at handling my drill bit. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I, like slip and whatever, or my elbow moves, but usually we're good. And I like to use it to help push out that cuticle. So again, I'm just going to roll up the cuticle again because right now the nail plate is not prepped. So we can still touch it with our bare hands. And that's another thing. If you or your client is touching your nails or touching their nails while you're prepping them, they're getting oil back onto the nail plate. So once your nails start looking ashy, like once you start prepping it like this, do not touch the nail plate. And ask your clients, do not touch it, please. Keep your hands like off of stuff. If you guys go back and see some skin that was just a little stubborn, just go back and repush that, because again, you don't want that to be messing with your prep. Like I was saying, and if your client's eating while she's getting her nails done or he's getting his nails done, that is also a no-go, because that can leave dust, nail bits. That can leave crumbs, oils, and stuff that's just not going to let your nails last. Especially if you're doing an extra long set, you need stability and you need grip on that nail plate for it to last. Because the more length, the more easy it is for your nails to lift. Again, I'm on speed 7. And I like to literally go back and forth like this. Ain't nothing special. See the ashiness. That's what you want. We like ash. Just go back and forth like this. And you want your nail to be real ashy looking, right? And you're not putting any pressure. You're just literally gliding over it. And pull back that skin. Pull back the skin. Because again, you don't want to bust your nails or your client's cuticles. And just so you can get all of the nail plate so you don't have any lifting. Again, you're going light, feather, feather, feather. Turn the hand, feather, 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 and I'm pulling back the skin. Change your angle if you need to, but always make sure you're keeping it at like a 45-degree angle on the nail plate, because you don't want to dig into your client's nail and leave like rings of fire. Okay, look at that. See how like ashy that's looking? There is some dry skin there that is a little bit nagging me to get up, so maybe I will show you guys how to use that drill bit instead of getting it off with that. So again, we're just going onto the nail plate. You're just literally dusting over. No pressure, no pressure. Pull back the skin. Now we're going to bend her finger, and again, pulling back the skin. You're just feathering over the nail plate, guys. No pressure is needed. I don't know if you guys noticed, but me drilling has flipped up that piece of cuticle just a bit, and that's what I like about doing the drilling first. It just flips it up a little more. This nail is not going to really have any like dead skin to flip up, so just be a little more mindful of the cuticle because it doesn't have really anything protecting it. When you have a lot of dead skin around the cuticle, that kind of does protect it from the drill. bit. So be a little more mindful if they don't have a lot of dead skin around their cuticle. Pulling back the skin and lightly feathering. And if you guys are having trouble with holding your drill bit lightly, because a lot of nail techs hold it down here, which is normal, yes, but if you're trying to hold it a little more lightly, go up here, because it very much gives that, like, softer touch. Just like to take a double look at the nail, just to make sure I got everything, because again, you don't want to miss anywhere. That can also lead to lifting, no matter if it's a tip, I mean, at the very, like, tip of the nail, the mid nail, or anywhere, it can lead to lifting. Stephanie has a little groove in her nail right here, so you're just gonna kind of lightly, if you have this problem, just lightly go over the nail until it's etched just like the rest of it. You don't want to put any pressure again. Light as a feather. And sometimes, like I said, some clients are going to have a lot of dead skin. So if there is, it's usually at the side right here. And if you want to, you can literally just feather away lightly until you touch the nail bed, because that'll get rid of it faster than having to go around with your diamond bit that I'm going to take on Stephanie's cuticle to show you. This is your diamond bit, by the way. Again, we're just going over. You don't have to do the middle first. Honestly, you can go around the perimeter first if you want. I just like to do the middle first because it kind of like gets most of it done, and then you don't need to focus on the perimeter as much when it comes to connecting into the middle. And when you're doing the perimeter first, you kind of like, okay, I need to like keep going up to the side, keep going up to the side. When in reality, if you just do a fast little etch on top of the nail when you first start, you already get 90% of that nail plate done in like a second. And when it comes to the nail industry, yeah, you want your nails to look good, but also like you don't want to be taking 16 hours for a thing. Oh, I made Stephanie bleed. I don't know if you guys see, but Stephanie is just, she's not even bleeding that much, but it is, I can see the red coming through. So if this happens to you guys, it's not a big deal. It happens. Like, cuticle areas are thin skin and you're using a freaking tools, sharp tools around them. What I like to do is you're just going to tell your client, hey, just so you know, like, I nicked you a little bit. It's not bad. I'm just going to spray some alcohol just so if it burns, you know why. You don't want your client to be sitting there like clueless and then they get shocked from if it stings. I they just spray and then you just hold down because pressure usually gets rid of it and it stops bleeding after that. If that happens to you, just calm down because I know it can be scary, especially if you're new at this industry. What is on my arm, guys? I'm so sorry. It's probably been there the whole time. If this happens to you, just you sit there and clean and sanitize your area, like we're doing right now. So if this happens to you, just tell your client, hey, I apologize for nicking you, and make sure you just sanitize. And it's always good to have a bottle of alcohol spray around, like a handy one. Obviously, you want a big one too for like spraying and disinfecting, but you also want like a little one that you can just pull out and it's easy. Back to the etching. Like, see what I was saying with if you do the middle first, you're literally getting 90% of her nail bed in like literally a second, maybe a second and a half. And then you're gonna go around the sides. Be a little mindful. remember what happened. We just nicked her. We don't want that to happen again. It does happen though sometimes. And yeah, be mindful around the cuticle because again, you don't want to nick people, even though we just nicked her. But again, if it does happen, it's not the biggest deal. It does happen. Like cuticles are thin skin, especially if you're new, you're learning. Like, don't be hard on yourself. And again, that's why another thing why you don't want to go like too crazy with your diamond bit, or sorry, and that's another reason why you don't want to go too crazy, like trying to get out the dead skin with this, and use your diamond bit instead if you're having trouble like getting in the corner because it can cause your client to bleed, obviously, because you're drilling the skin. I like to also dust off my client's hands. I probably should have did this before moving on to the next nail or hand, but I like to dust off my client's nails just so like they don't feel just so they don't feel like dirty or anything, afterwards and dusty. And now we're gonna take our diamond bit. There's also a bunch of different diamond bits that you can use. So you can use ball bits, like a corn head bit. I personally like this bit because I can just get up the dead skin very easy, like because it has that flat top. But just be mindful because you can, if you're digging too hard, it can hurt one, your client's skin, two, your client's nail bed, because it is an electrical tool at the end of the day. Stephanie really does not have much. Maybe like a little right here. And I don't know if you guys can see that. I have Stephanie's pinky with the bit of dead skin there. Let me turn off my drill so I can punch it. See, we have the cuticle that's lifted right here, the dead skin of the cuticle, but then we have that dry skin that's stuck on the nail plate right here. See that? I'm literally scraping off. See that white bit? That leaves lift. That causes lifting. That will lead to lifting. Even though you think, oh, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. No, it's going to lead to premature lifting. So again, we're just going to take our drill, and this is a diamond bit. Dust it off. See what you're working with still. I'm going to go in with my cuticle pusher and push that back. And see, now that nail skin. Now see that dead cuticle is off the nail plate. Okay, guys, so now it is nail trimming time. Now it is cuticle trimming time. You're only just going to be taking off dead skin, no living tissue. Make sure you have a sharp pair as well of nippers because you don't want to be tearing off your client's cuticle. It doesn't feel good. So I like to start from the side here just to get me a little bit going. I'll show them a before. If you're having trouble getting into the corner, stop what you're doing and just flip to the other side, because sometimes you just need a little. And there you go. And some people will have like hangnails and stuff like that. That's like just a little bit of like their nail plate splitting when it, not splitting, but like it's connected to the skin and the nail plate, so it just kind of like hooks off and just hangs there, and it can be painful if you rip it upward. So when you're doing that, just kind of, she doesn't have any today, but when you're doing that, I like to just put a little bit of pressure and just snip. You're not pulling them up, you're not ripping them out, you're not pulling them down, you're just gonna snip them off where they are. So see how that bit of skin is gone? That is also gonna give her, like I said, another like week and a half, depending on how fast her nails grow, of wear without looking like it's grown out. So now we're just gonna continue cutting. Again, if they have any dry skin here too, it's not bad to just snip that away for them. Have a little bit of dry skin at the side here, so we're just gonna snip that off for her. A little bit of dry skin that she does have, we're just gonna go around and snip it. And how you hold your tweezers does matter, guys. I like to use the tip. And make sure it's angled, kind of like this is. How do I do it? This is the cuticle. You don't want it to be straight with the cuticle. You want it to be up like that. So you're nipping with the thing. You're nipping with the tip of the nippers instead of using your whole blade. And again, practice is going to make perfect too, guys. So I would recommend practicing on yourself. Obviously, don't over nip your cuticles, but you know, it's best to work on yourself because you can learn like the pressure and stuff like that and just how it feels. You know what I mean? Like it's firsthand experience. See, guys, you want to get off these things because that's going to lead to lifting. Just be as precise as they should be, and then that can lead to premature lifting. Especially if you want your nails to last like 6 weeks, and then all you really have to do when your client comes back is just remove the design, prep a tiny bit, and boom, you're on delaying the acrylic. This is the one that we have a little bleeding on, so just be a little mindful if that happens to not like dig too hard or anything. And guys, if you're ever unsure, if you're like, oh, is this living tissue, don't click or don't push down. Just, restable yourself, let go, and realign your nipper. Trust me, it hurts when you take out a chunk of your cuticle. Even if the client says, "Oh, it's okay," they're in pain, girl. Yeah, they're in pain. Like I said, mistakes do happen, but just be mindful. And guys, your prep should only take you like 10, max 15 minutes. It's just taking us a little longer today because I am explaining everything to you guys and going over like tips and tricks and stuff like that. And sometimes like the dead skin will be like a little just pushed not into the living tissue, but you will need to put just a little bit of pressure on the top of your um nipper, not a whole bunch of pressure. Like I'm saying, do not squeeze the living tissue. You're just putting enough to kind of like flip that dead skin into the nipper bit. This is what you want, guys. See that little like line of dead skin? And you want to try to take it off in like as minimal pieces as you can. And if you need to, go back and clean up any spots or anything, because sometimes that does happen. After that, I do sometimes, like if you see any nail bed that is showing after that needs a little more prepping, you just go along it very quickly, no pressure, like I said, just very light feather over the back of the nail plate. Like I said, some people like to do this um, before cutting. I like to do it a little bit. I like to prep the nail before cutting and then just do a little light feather afterwards. Again, it protects the nail when you're etching the first time around. Or not, sorry, it protects the like skin a little bit. I don't know. It might not make sense to any of you guys, but that's just how I do it and it works for me. So I'm telling you guys my tips and tricks. How much dead skin we took off, guys? It didn't look like there was like a lot on her fingers, but look at all that. It's on the flash. Like you don't realize how much is on the nail plate until you prep properly. And we're not done yet. So now at this point, I do like to clear away the dead skin because I just like to be as cleanly as I can. It looks good on you, makes your client feel better. So move her dead skin out of the way. I like to use a scrubber brush. It doesn't matter what color it is, what it looks like. But this is another trick that I like to do. I like to spray the nails with alcohol. Get them real juicy, real good, okay? One, this is drying out your client's nails a further step. Two, this is getting rid of dust before you're putting on the tips. And yes, the tips are just glued down, but this is getting rid of any dust and stuff that is going to be on the nail plate for the tip delay. And again, like I said, it dries out your client's nails and you want dry nails. You want dry, dry, dry. And I'm not going to show it in this video, but this is like another tip I'm throwing in. After you prep your tips, this will be in my application video for acrylic, so make sure you keep up with that. A1 acrylic application. You do spray and with alcohol after you prep your tips, because again, that is another layer of drying out your client's nails and again, getting rid of all the dust and debris for a good application. But I just wanted to thank you for, joining me and Stephanie today and showing you guys our prep, my prep, and how I do things to get 6+ weeks of retention. I don't know if you guys know or see, but very ashy. That is what you want. This one's not ashy yet because it's still drying from the alcohol, but you want them to be dry. You want them to look nice and like they've never been moisturized in 20 years of their damn life. But thank you guys again for joining us today, and thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this course, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!